All right, and action. Good morning.
Hi. Beautiful place here.
Thanks. Thank you.
Is this all yours?
Yes, actually, my folks.
Yeah, great.
Could we have predicted the destiny that awaited this shy teenager when he did his first screen tests 40 years ago? And yet, it's enough to see the ease with which he turns off the smile he was too often reduced to wonder about his dark side. As if we'd already caught a glimpse of the tortured soul that makes Tom Cruise more than a mainstream icon. A complex, elusive being. It was in a town on the East Coast, in a high school like so many others. In the late 1970s, the destiny of a young, seemingly ordinary American hung in the balance. Uncomfortable at school, he dreamt of being a top-level athlete. Before embarking on an acting career, by accident.
I was in high school, and I injured myself in wrestling. And I decided to go out for a musical because I sing. And
it hasn't been a long, hard, tough climb to success for you, has it, Tom? Boy, every day I pick up the papers, there's something about Tom Cruise in there going on. Do you claim luck in all of it?
well, yeah, I feel very fortunate. I mean, there's a lot of good young actors out there.
Yeah.
And it just seems that I, got the opportunities and just took the best of each opportunity, though. But I do feel very fortunate. 3 years, I've been really lucky.
Luck? Maybe. Or the first signs of an extraordinary destiny. From his very first screen appearance in the motion picture Endless Love, though he was just an extra, Tom Cruise revealed the youthful masculinity that would become so familiar to us.
Hey, I tried that. I ever tell you guys? 8 years old and I was into RC.
You're full of it.
No, I'm serious. I lit a whole pile of newspapers. You ever try to light a whole pile of wet newspapers? Jeez, it smokes like crazy.
It's in Taps, his first real role, that we discovered his chops. Haunted, close to breaking point.
Like they did Charlie. The bastards killed him!
He was already impressive.
It's beautiful, man. Beautiful.
In Francis Ford Coppola's The Outsiders, his innate maturity was striking.
Walking by your lonesome on the street, huh?
None of your business, Marty.
What do you mean none of my business? It is my business. Look at my nose.
From barely 3 movies, one thing was perfectly clear. Tom Cruise was a born actor. But steeped as he was in ambition and talent, how could this 19-year-old kid, who played soccer with the Outsiders crew, doubt that he had a date with America? In the early 80s, galvanized by the election of Reagan, the public wanted to forget Vietnam, to rediscover the spirit of the 1950s, innocent, suburban, and white. The young people wanted to see themselves up on the screen. All it took was a spark to turn Tom Cruise into an icon. With risky business Tom Cruise revealed himself to the general public in one instantly mythical scene. The country fell under the spell of this young, uninhibited boy, the meeting of a liberated sexuality and an ultra-liberal America.
I mean, doesn't anyone want to accomplish anything, or do we just want to make money?
Make money.
Just make money.
Yeah. Make a lot of money.
What about you, Joel?
Serve my fellow mankind.
Oh,
Thank you for that. Good. Get out of here.
This movie for teenagers in which he was the star was the 10th biggest success at the US box office that year. But to him, Rich Kid was a character role. He came from another America.
My parents got divorced. I was like 12 years old. I was living in Louisville, Kentucky. I have 3 sisters and my mother at that point, and it was just us 5. And we didn't have any money. I guess I'm still kind of going through that stuff, feeling guilt about divorce, you know, and for years I ignored it. You know, I kind of shut that off from my life. It's painful, you know, always.
His father didn't just leave home. He also abandoned his family. Raised by his mother with his 3 sisters, Tom Cruise's life followed a typically American nomadic tradition. Canada, New Jersey, the east of America, constantly moving house. He attended 14 different schools in 15 years. This traumatic instability contributed to giving the young boy this need to believe that would be so important in his life.
There was a point in your life when you almost entered the priesthood.
I went to St. Francis Seminary when I was a freshman in high school. I mean, I really never considered becoming a priest. It was 2 years after the divorce, and somehow I quite haven't figured out why I did that. Why I think I needed, when I went there, it was like a very secure environment, you know, with boarding school. And I guess I think I just needed that.
Do you privately pray?
Do I privately pray? Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
What you ask him?
What do I ask him? I ask him, I guess what I ask him myself to be helping.
And the miracle would happen.
Hey, this is,
when the new destiny of Tom Cruise
I'm on my way.
met that of America.
Fellow Americans, I'm coming before you tonight about the Korean airline massacre. The attack by the Soviet Union against 269 innocent men, women, and children aboard an unarmed Korean passenger plane. This crime against humanity must never be forgotten, here or throughout the world.
1983. With Reagan's America locked in the Cold War, the case of Korean Airlines Flight 007 shook global diplomacy. A Boeing 747 traveling from New York to Seoul was shot down by Russian fighter pilots because it had strayed into Soviet airspace. All 269 passengers, including a US senator, were killed. The USA was in shock. Dreamed up shortly after this tragedy, then shot with the logistical help of the Army, Top Gun perfectly illustrates to what extent Hollywood had been able to serve American ideology. Even the Navy's technical advisor on set didn't expect to be working with producers as conscientiously Reaganite.
My role was to tell them what reality was, and then they would do what they wanted to do.
Let's see what you got now, Chester.
You'll say, we can't do that, that's not real. Yeah, but Mom and Pop in Oklahoma want to see that. Mom and Pop in Oklahoma are the generic people that are going to go see the movie. One of the things they said was, we have to have a locker room scene. We're paying $1 million for Tom Cruise. We've got to show some flesh.
Some shots really did transform Tom Cruise into a real drawing card for the Navy. But the actor wanted to be more than a body serving a motion picture. Knowing that he was wanted, and therefore in a position of strength, at only 25 he demanded maximum control, to give Top Gun extra soul.
I just got involved in terms of developing the script, just to see where it went, you know, to see if what they wanted to do with it, what I wanted, you know, from the piece, that I felt that I could give anything to it. And that went on for about 2 months, and then I decided, yeah, let's go for it.
I went to rushes every night. I saw in the early stages, the first cut. I was very happy. I mean, it was what I had expected. I wanted, you know, the character, getting involved with Maverick and who he is. What is a fighter pilot? You know, what is it that makes this guy tick? And get people involved with that. I wasn't interested in making a war picture, you know, which this could have easily turned out to be.
To compensate for this interventionism, the actor's involvement was total.
1, 2, 3, eject! Okay, if you're all right, give me a thumbs up. That was great. It was a good shot.
This would become one of his trademarks.
So you went supersonic?
Yeah. Well, did we go supersonic?
Oh, yeah.
We went supersonic, we went supersonic with both.
It was great, honey.
Behind the scenes, everyone seemed to understand for Tom Cruise, after this movie, nothing would be the same. Just 3 years after Risky Business, Top Gun turned Tom Cruise into an American icon.
Greetings.
When he flipped the bird, it was like the whole country saying fuck the USSR, like Hollywood's answer to Flight 007. Top Gun was a phenomenon. Enlistment in the Navy boomed by 500%. Sales of the Ray-Ban model worn by Tom Cruise climbed by 40%. Top Gun was the top-grossing movie of 1986 in the USA. But when the producers offered him $5 million to shoot the sequel, Cruise refused. He knew that if he played the victorious pilot once more, the public would see him as just another action hero. He would rather catch Hollywood off guard. In his next 2 films, Tom Cruise put himself in the big boy's shadow. He seemed to be taking lessons in filmmaking right in front of us. Learning the subtleties of acting with Paul Newman in The Color of Money by Martin Scorsese.
You gotta be a student of human moves. See, all the greats that I know of to a man were students of human moves.
Students of human moves.
That's my area of excellence.
Learning about absolute immersion in a role with Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man. This was how Tom Cruise joined the big boys. With Paul Newman, this was a proper meeting. The actor was his on-screen mentor, as he was in real life. Mimetic desire. Tom Cruise discovered desire. The desire to step out from the shadow of his models, to equal them, even to exceed them. He played a Vietnam veteran, disabled, broken. Director Oliver Stone knew it was a risk to hand this part to the young actor who symbolized a winning America. But he saw before anyone that Tom Cruise was riven with cracks. Ron Kovic, whose story was the basis for the movie, also perceived the star's deep torments.
You mean to tell me that the first time Oliver ever came up to you and said, okay, you know who's going to play you Tom Cruise, that your mind didn't immediately say, hey, wait a second, just a second here.
You know
Top Gun, right wing, propaganda, he's going to play me?
No, I believed Oliver when he told me that Tom and I had a lot in common. I knew he was a lot like me. I knew Tom had come from a working class background. I knew that he had grown up Catholic.
But Tom Cruise was no longer. His faith was now turned towards Scientology, a heretical cult born in the 60s, whose indoctrination techniques were seen by many as dangerous. This self-proclaimed church was designed from the ground up by American science fiction author Ron Hubbard.
What is Scientology? How would you describe it?
Well, it's very interesting. You've just asked a question like, what are the contents of the Encyclopedia Britannica? Answer in one word.
After the death of Ron Hubbard in 1986, Scientology looked to grow and to obtain the status of religion in the USA. The strategy to seduce America was simple: to reassure through convincing communications campaigns, to recruit celebrities to spread the word. It was Mimi Rogers, a young actress he discreetly married in 1986, the daughter of a Scientologist pastor, who initiated Tom Cruise. Did the young actor find the answers he was seeking in the Scientologist creed? Here he is, at any rate, as a missionary preacher, ready to tell us about a miracle that Scientology fixed for him.
You were dyslexic?
Yes, and I didn't, it was something that I felt that I had to hide. It was something that was very embarrassing and very traumatic at times, because it's bad enough going in as a new school. I did. But there was something that is really, remedied that, which is Scientology.
Yes.
L. Ron Hubbard has a technology, and I apply that technology, when I study and when I read and when I work on things, and I realize that I'm not dyslexic. And, it actually has changed my life in that regard, because I am now able to study and learn at such a rapid, high rate, and my comprehension is absolutely incredible.
Is it a religion?
Yeah, by definition, it is a religion.
And does it bother you that it is considered so controversial, that it is considered a cult, that it has been investigated? I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Doesn't matter to me. Whatever anybody thinks or what they don't know, I know what I know.
Intoxicated by his commitment to Scientology, which would end up acting as slow poison on his career, Tom Cruise approached the late 80s as a conqueror. Born on the 4th of July grossed more than $160 million worldwide. Above all, thanks to his haunted acting. For Tom Cruise, the way ahead was clear.
The winner is...
First, the Golden Globes.
Tom Cruise, born on the 4th of July.
Then, the Oscars.
And the Oscar goes to... Daniel Day-Lewis in my left foot.
Tom Cruise came across someone even more intense than him. But this failure at the Oscars also symbolized the frustrated relationship between the star and his peers. What the ambitious wounded actor was paying for here was perhaps also a form of cinematic insolence. The actor liked to give himself the best role. And when he charmed a whole nightclub in Cocktail,
Last barman poet.
or when he rumbled onto our screens in Days of Thunder, his arrogance made for tremendous screen presence, which some say overshadowed his acting potential. Days of Thunder was one film too many for the critics in the US who were beginning to deconstruct his magic formula, here reduced to a simple sleight of hand.
It has the same structure as Top Gun, The Color of Money, and Cocktail. Cruise is always the natively talented kid who's undisciplined. There's always the older mentor.
My best friend in the world. You get back in that car, you'll die. You'll die.
There's always the piece of equipment, whether it's a cocktail shaker, a pool cue, a jet airplane, or a car. There's always the taller, wiser, more mature woman who brings him into her emotional sphere and helps him to grow up emotionally.
Why did you humiliate me like that in Jamaica?
There's some real genius in your flying, Maverick, but I can't say that in there.
You want to control something that's out of control. That's what you said to me, wasn't it? Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret that almost everybody else in this world automatically knows. Control is an illusion, you infantile egomaniac. Nobody knows what's going to happen next.
Was it because she read him like an open book that falling head over heels in love on the set of Days of Thunder was so immediate and obvious? These two young actors had so much in common. They were precocious. Nicole Kidman, barely 22, already 7 years into her career. Their talent was dazzling, their beauty fascinating. Their romance would bewitch America. These two ambitious youngsters seemed to have twigged that the more they paraded their love in the media, the more they gained in popularity with the public, running the risk of forgetting that Tom Cruise was not just a celebrity icon. In 1993, Warner Brothers was preparing the adaptation of a bestseller, Interview with the Vampire. To guarantee the film's success, the studio wanted to entrust Tom Cruise with the key role of Lestat, a disturbing character. But that triggered a gnashing of teeth in Hollywood, reminding Tom Cruise that he was still not seen as a proper actor.
Tom Cruise?
Who?
Tom Cruise?
Oh, yeah, Tom
is going to
Cruise.
play Lestat?
Yeah.
Can you imagine Cruise as Lestat?
Not at all. Not at all. Tom Cruise is a good actor,
Yeah.
no doubt about it. He was great in Born on the 4th of July, but he is so not the type for Lestat that it's almost unimaginable. I can't conceive of what's going to happen.
And
Readers are devastated. Just let me say that. They are
There's
devastated.
a real controversy brewing over
Coast
this.
to coast.
Tom Cruise was hurt, but hung on, and lay claim to the role even in the most prestigious news outlets. He would immerse himself in the character like never before. Frightening, fascinating, erotic. Here he ventured into new play areas and even risked sharing the screen with another sex symbol, a daring ambiguity never before seen.
Mama's gone to heaven, Shaggy, like that sweet lady right there. They all go to heaven.
All but us.
Do you want to frighten our little daughter?
Anne Rice was won over and published a letter of apology. She recognized that the actor perfectly understood her character. Perhaps because, basically, as the film's director Neil Jordan knew, there was already some Lestat in Tom Cruise.
The world of a vampire is not that different from the world of a massive Hollywood star, yeah? You're kept from the harsh daylight. You live in strange kind of seclusion. Every time you emerge, tremendous kind of ripple runs through people. And as well as that, you're condemned to be eternally youthful in a way.
Condemned to eternal youth. As if his character of the aging, cursed old man in Interview with the Vampire reflected a new concern. The American teen icon no longer allowed himself to grow old. We could then see Tom Cruise as an echo of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde's hero, willing to give anything so that a hidden picture of himself might age in his stead. Did Tom Cruise, like Dorian Gray, make a wish for eternal youth?
If only the picture could change, and I could be always as I am now.
For that, I would give everything. Yes, there's nothing in the whole world I would not give. I would give my soul for that.
To give his soul, yes, to legendary directors. Steven Spielberg, Brian De Palma, Michael Mann, Stanley Kubrick. And as if his wish had come true, his on-screen characters no longer aged. Young father at 54 or 36. Womanizer at 38 or 47.
Coconut. It's loaded with electrolytes.
Secret agent at 55 or 32. Could the eternally youthful hero Tom Cruise have become America's Dorian Gray? Because like the Oscar Wilde character, whose charm was magnified tenfold by his supernatural youth, Tom Cruise would bewitch the public more than ever. Between 1993 and 2005, 10 of his movies exceeded box office receipts of $100 million in the continental US, a record that enabled him to impose his rules on Hollywood. He became co-producer of his films. His name on the poster overshadowed that of prestigious directors. The public now went to see a Tom Cruise. And as if to protect himself, he called on a communications expert, Pat Kingsley. She immediately banned him from talking about Scientology in the media. The real Tom Cruise became a mystery. Unfathomable, always searching for the role that would make him one of the greats, he now seemed to reserve his torments for directors. Though things did come close to imploding when he offered his soul to a giant.
You're working with Kubrick now in London?
Yes.
On what movie? Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah, with my wife.
And this is a mystery? Comedy?
It's modern... modern thriller about sexual obsession and jealousy.
The obsessed person is you or your wife?
It's a modern thriller about sexual obsession and jealousy.
Tom Cruise's smile spoke volumes.
I'm not allowed to say.
The ambitious actor, who had always wanted to be more than a movie star, had just been chosen by the most prestigious of directors. For his next film, focused on a couple in crisis, Stanley Kubrick wanted to work with a married couple of actors.
I was informed that he wanted Nicole and I in the movie. So I read the script and flew immediately to where he was, to his property, and I landed on his property in this helicopter.
They didn't hesitate for a moment. Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, and their 2 children moved to England, where the director lived. And Stanley Kubrick obtained Tom Cruise's availability for as long as he saw fit. As if the director was locking the couple away in a goldfish bowl in order to accomplish his experiment.
There were a lot of people in my life that were saying, when are you coming back? And I remember talking to Stanley, and I said, Stanley, look, I don't care how long it takes, but I have to know.
Stanley Kubrick had announced 6 months of principal shooting. It would last 3 times as long. Eyes Wide Shut is, to date, the longest shoot in the history of cinema. The actor, in every shot, replayed the same sequence up to 90 times to take in every camera angle.
Stanley would say, look, we gotta earn every scene with this character, every single moment. At times that we couldn't get it, you know what I mean? And it was just like, fuck.
Like Bill Harford, his character that is taken to an unknown destination, Tom Cruise lets himself be guided by Stanley Kubrick. And like Bill Harford, he is haunted by the images of his wife, who gives herself to another. For 6 days, he was kept away from the set, while Stanley Kubrick shot erotic scenes featuring a young actor and Nicole Kidman. Torture. The couple also took part in psychoanalysis sessions in the presence of the director. The more Stanley Kubrick interfered with them, the more the shoot ate away at them, without knowing whether the film fed on their intimate tensions or if it caused them.
There were times where it was very difficult during the making of the movie. Times where, the characters are at odds and all of these raw emotions are there. It does invade your life. It is there. It is pervasive, especially I worked every single day.
We could no longer tell if Tom Cruise was playing for Stanley Kubrick or if Stanley Kubrick was playing with Tom Cruise, as some scenes deliberately echoed the actor's experience. Like this encounter that evoked the star's hypothetical hidden homosexuality, one of the recurring subjects of the tabloid press.
Christmas, Mary! My brothers are back there in prime cut of meat, baby! You want to take a ride in this bike, Kelly, you stupid faggot? It's like we got a moon puncher going on here, huh? You should have kitchen standing so close. Get out of here. I got dumps that are bigger than you. Come on, macho man. Come on, macho man. You want a piece of this, please? Exit only, honey.
I thought Cruise was fine in the film, and I think he helps it to a degree because I think he is a figure whom the audience does kind of fixate on.
Because it's Tom Cruise, everyone in the film relates to him sexually. Every single character in this movie looks at him in a particular way.
Going anywhere special?
No, I'm just taking a walk.
You can see that there's something crumbling underneath that smile. He's not a good guy at all, and you don't really know what's in there.
Eyes Wide Shut wasn't the expected success, but it is the dark jewel in Tom Cruise's filmography. A film that veered from the tortured soul of the character to that of the star. This confusion would thereafter be at the heart of his acting.
You explain. When you're doing it, are you Tom Cruise doing it or are you it?
You bring aspects of your own personality, and you're exploring and creating another kind of character. And I enjoy the process of working with another actor, working with a director, and all of a sudden that moment where it comes alive, that moment where the indescribable or the unthinkable or the unimaginable occurs. It's those little moments that happen that surprise you about yourself. You find out things about yourself, things that you like, maybe things you don't like.
As in Magnolia, which the actor shot directly after Eyes Wide Shut, the original script described him as a son come to make peace with his dying father. But once the camera was rolling, Tom Cruise began to improvise a very personal version of the scene.
I was there.
As if he were addressing the ghost of his own father.
She waited for your call. For you to come. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry for you. You cocksucker, I know you can hear me. I want you to know that I hate your fucking guts. You can just fucking die, you fuck. And I hope it hurts. I fucking hope it hurts.
Whether revealing his soul through cathartic improvisation, or whether letting the camera do the work on this very slow tracking shot, Tom Cruise was impressive. His performance earned him another Oscar nomination.
This year's nominees for the Best Supporting Actor: Tom Cruise in And the Oscar goes to... Michael Caine in The Cider House Movie.
A third disappointment.
Tom, who, if you had won this, your price would have gone down so fast. Have you any idea what supporting actors get paid?
As if once again, his box office success was condemning Tom Cruise to the indifference of his peers. He who was then dominating Hollywood with Mission Impossible 2, the big global hit of the year 2000. Did the actor fantasize about himself as a misunderstood martyr of cinema when he shot this dizzying sequence? Once again, it is the fate of America that would write his name in the history of Hollywood.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
Shaken, bruised, America was dumbfounded. And to address the world in the Oscars ceremony 6 months after the attacks, Hollywood gathered behind the reassuring image of Tom Cruise. The actor had never been honored, but at that precise moment it didn't matter. He was there, finally. The film industry, the Oscars, America.
And then last September came an event that would change us. An actor friend said to me, what are we doing? What are we doing? Is it important? Is it even important what I do? And what of a night like tonight? Should we celebrate the joy and magic that movies bring? Well, dare I say it, more than ever.
September the 11th was also the underlying theme of the movie War of the Worlds, released in 2005. The trauma of the attacks pervaded the second collaboration between Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg. Here, the actor was a world away from the Reaganite hero he played 20 years previously in Top Gun. His only quest wasn't to save the world, just to survive a threat that he didn't understand. A post-9/11 hero. At the time, Tom Cruise earned the second highest fee in Hollywood history. In 2005, he was worth $100 million per motion picture. But just when he was at the summit, the actor would be overtaken by his dark side. In TV studios, promotion of the film took a strange turn. The King of Hollywood seemed preoccupied with presenting his new 26-year-old queen, Katie Holmes. As he did with Nicole Kidman, then with Penelope Cruz, Tom Cruise shone a spotlight on his private life to occupy still more media space.
Something happened to you! Something happened to you! I'm in love. We've never seen you behave this way before. I know. Have you ever felt this way before?
The discomfort was palpable, and the suspicions unmistakable. Part of the audience did not believe the actor's sincerity, and they used new ways of letting it be known. Mocked, parodied, the sofa sequence became one of the first viral videos on YouTube, created just weeks earlier. Though unthinkable, the inevitable fall of Tom Cruise had begun. He was not yet aware of it.
It's just a great time in my life. I'm really happy. I'm engaged. I'm going to be married.
So when you hear the cynics, Mr. Cruise, and you've heard them, who say this is publicity for a movie, this relationship, or this is Tom Cruise in his 40s trying to become or stay relevant for a younger audience. And that's why he's out there talking about this relationship with this lovely young lady who happens to be sitting right over there. How do you respond to that?
I have never worried, Matt, about what other people think and what other people say.
Katie has mentioned that she is embracing, or at least exposing herself and opening herself up to Scientology. At this stage in your life, could you be with someone who doesn't have an interest?
You know, Scientology is something that you don't understand. It's like you could be a Christian and be a Scientologist, okay? Scientology is something...
So it doesn't replace religion.
And it is a religion because it's dealing with the spirit, you know, you as a spiritual being. And it's something that there's tools that you have that you apply to your life.
His Scientologist beliefs had resurfaced. When his precious comms consultant, Pat Kingsley, tried to rein him in, he fired her without notice. Nicole Kidman had been the real barrier between Tom Cruise and Scientology. Since their separation in 2001, the actor had lived surrounded by followers. Press, TV, even an opening in Madrid. He had become the face of this opaque cult, considered in certain countries as a sect. An overzealous spokesman, a total fanatic, he didn't realize that his movie star image was being tainted by each turn on the stump. Like when he delivered his controversial take on psychiatry, Scientology's pet peeve.
Here we are today, where I talk out against drugs and psychiatric abuses of electric shocking people, okay, against their will, of drugging children with them not knowing the effects of these drugs. Do you know what Adderall is? Do you know Ritalin? Do you know now that Ritalin is a street drug? Do you understand that?
The difference is, this was not against her will, though. But this wasn't against Brooke's will.
Matt, I'm asking you a question.
I understand there's abuse of all of these things.
No, you see, here's the problem. You don't know the history of psychiatry. I do.
For the first time, Tom Cruise appeared as a disturbing character in America's eyes. Dangerous even, when several internal videos stolen from Scientology leaked onto the web. While he was seen as one of the most influential stars in the world, we saw him pledging allegiance to the leader of the Church of Scientology and abandoning all critical thinking.
I've met the leaders of leaders, okay? I've met them all. So I say to you, Sir COB, we are lucky to have you, and thank you very much.
He vehemently claimed his cult possessed supernatural powers.
When you drive past an accident, it's not like anyone else. As you drive past, you know you have to do something about it because you know you're the only one that can really help. We are the authorities on getting people off drugs. We are the authorities on the mind. We are the authorities on improving conditions.
This vision in War of the Worlds of a haggard man wandering alone in a dilapidated universe seemed prophetic. After this film, the actor's world would collapse under the weight of his Scientology commitment. In 2005, Spielberg declared he would never work with him again. In 2006, Paramount announced the end of their collaboration with the actor. Like his character, Tom Cruise seemed more isolated and vulnerable than ever when the journalists applied the coup de grace.
I think he's an unreliable witness to his past, and I think that he's changed his past, especially when he talks about his dyslexia, in relation to his faith in Scientology. And I discovered that actually he was a slow reader, but by the age of 12, he'd had sufficient help and encouragement from specialist care people.
It was as if the picture that America's Dorian Gray had hidden from the world finally appeared, and the audience had glimpsed fragments of a face they had never imagined.
Vanity Fair magazine reports that the church once embarked on a top-secret project to find Cruise a wife.
He's very high up in the church, so it's not really surprising that they're involved with all facets of his personal life.
I'm just saying he's de facto second in command.
With strange synchronicity, when America was flying through the biggest air pocket in its history, the subprime crisis, its golden boy Tom Cruise crashed.
Given the nature of technology,
It is my assertion that it's not possible to cut ourselves off from one another. We now are living in a global supply chain. Our growth comes through innovation and ideas that are crossing borders all the time.
Tom Cruise would also abolish borders. America's fallen hero saw, early in the 2010s, that the path to his resurrection would be via planetary consecration. That was one of the strokes of genius of the Mission Impossible saga, in which Tom Cruise, still co-producer, controlled all stages from writing to editing. Each film was the pretext for a world tour, cleverly crafted to conquer all markets. And to ward off the years that saw him falter, the actor relied more than ever on his supernatural youth. Now over 50, he is still running, faster than ever. After giving his soul to cinema, he now offers his body as a sacrifice through insane stunt work.
Obviously, what we're doing is extreme, and all of us know it, and all of us are very respectful of that, and don't take it for granted. But it does make a difference when you're watching it. It just has a different look, a different vibe. And that's what I want to give an audience.
And it works. Tom Cruise is bewitching a new generation of moviegoers. But is it really for them that he puts himself in real danger on every shoot?
It's good for this shot. Stepping out, guys.
Isn't he looking for something else when he hangs like this from Dubai's highest building? Or when he risks his life hanging onto this plane, watched by his anxious team as they take off 8 times in a row, striving for the perfect take? By playing cheat death, Tom Cruise is muddying the waters still further. Watching the movie, is your fear for the hero or for the actor? At the time of these barely credible shots, reality seems to be overtaking fiction, and soon, science fiction. We learnt in 2020 that these images of astronaut Tom Cruise in the movie Oblivion, shot some 7 years earlier, were premonitory.
NASA confirmed their plan to work with Tom Cruise on a film that would be shot in outer space.
The head of the space agency confirming Cruise will make an action movie on the International Space Station.
Sounds like you're ready to go.
Well, I'm ready to go. Ignition.
If all goes according to plan, Cruise will be the first actor to travel to space.
But even as he aimed for the stars, the actor seemed caught up in his own shadows, even on the screen. As he was shooting this heart-wrenching scene, his relationship was on the rocks. His wife, Katie Holmes, was leaving him.
TMZ reports the 33-year-old actress reached a breaking point because of Cruise's fierce connection to Scientology, saying she filed for sole custody, fearing the organization's growing influence on their daughter Suri's life.
As if he recognized that Scientology had cut him off from the world, from Katie Holmes, and even from his daughter, whom he no longer sees, because she doesn't share his beliefs. The actor now displays this loneliness in his movies. That of an isolated man, dysfunctional and broken from within. Unable to love, or too dangerous to love. Should we see an embodiment of his Scientology demons in this evil priest?
Do you, Ethan, take Julia to be your lawful wedded wife?
I do.
To shield from terrors known and unknown, to lie, to deceive, to live a double life, force her into hiding, take away all she has known.
Stop.
In a selfish, futile, fleeting attempt to escape your own true self.
Please, stop.
And Julia, do you choose to accept?
Don't.
I do.
No.
You should have killed me, Ethan.
Despite the success, his cinema also bears the scars of his Scientology commitment. He had to give up on the quest for the ultimate role, which he sought by working with the greatest. He had to give up on an Oscar, coveted for 20 years. He promised himself never to give in to a Top Gun sequel. 33 years on, he's the star of Top Gun 2. But wherever he goes, whatever he does, we are fascinated by this actor we can't manage to hate. Even though we glimpsed the tormented soul of America's Dorian Gray in some of his films. And if we forget his grey areas as soon as he starts running, it may be because the rage with which he pursues his youth fascinates us and reassures us. It allows us to believe, for the duration of a film, that in contact with him, we are like him. Stronger than time.